Hey guys, it's Cayley. I am back with another thrift haul. As you can see, we've got racks and racks and racks and racks of clothing behind us. We are trying something new where we are getting everything prepped and hung up ahead of time. So hopefully with that in mind, I'll be able to provide you guys with more thrift hauls because I'm going to have my team prepping stuff ahead of time, which means it's going to make it a lot easier for me to just hop on in here, grab a batch that we haven't done before, and share it with you guys. But I have quite a bit to show you. Most of the stuff came from the bins and is a collection of items sourced throughout the last couple of weeks. So wanted to share with you a small portion of that. And yeah, let's just jump in and get started here. I have some really cool gems that I want to show you. So this is something we are buying a lot of, especially at the bins, which are vintage Y2K shirts. This is probably one of the better, at least mall brands in Y2K that you want to look for, which is Abercrombie & Fitch. And even their modern stuff for me is still selling pretty well. So I'm keeping my eye out for all things Abercrombie & Fitch. This one is Y2K and it has the puff print logo. I've sold a ton of these. I might have even found an identical one of these, just maybe not with a moose print on it, but we'll likely list this for around $30 to $35. All right, next up, we have a little kid's Polo Bear hoodie. If you guys ever see anything Ralph Lauren with Polo Bear on it, you definitely want to take a look at it. Some of them go for more than others. I don't know how much the kids' hoodies go for. One of my gals found this at the bins, but at the bins especially, I would definitely take the risk and get a Polo Bear hoodie. Some of the vintage Polo Bear like men's t-shirts go for hundreds. Sometimes they only go for 25 bucks. If they're modern, they've remade them a few times. So make sure you do a Google lens and see how much it could be worth. All right, we're still picking up a lot of swim items. We are slowing down as we move towards fall and winter, but we're checking comps. If they're still good, we're getting them. So I found a one-piece Garnet Hill larger size, really gorgeous swimsuit. It is a one shoulder, like I said, larger size, ruching details, super flattering, and very modern. So I grabbed that, and I saw actually some selling for around $30 to $40, which is what I'll list mine for. We've been finding a ton of Natural Life. This brand is very, very trendy. I'll even pick up the t-shirts. Their dresses are what sell for way more money, like 40 bucks and up pre-owned. But even their t-shirts for me, 20, 25 bucks. So I get them. People love this brand Natural Life. We'll list this for around $20 to $25. I recently came across this. This is a J. Crew linen. It's kind of like a romper / play suit kind of thing. I actually gave people on Whatnot the opportunity to have this first, and I am shocked that it did not sell. The full jumpsuit I had sold, but not this little romper. But J. Crew linen, anything, especially these cute, playful, oversized rompers, very trendy. And this is a more modern label too. So we'll figure out the exact style of this, but I could see this selling very quickly. J. Crew linen in the warmer weather is definitely something that sells well for us. And I'm just making a guess here, but probably $30 to $40 on this little linen romper. Okay, next up, this is the brand Scotch and Soda. This brand retails for quite a bit. This is a nice nautical, it's falling off, boat neck nautical top. Very high quality because, like I said, it is a high retailing brand. Cotton shirt, and it's giving very like nautical fisherman vibes, preppy, old money, which is very trendy aesthetics right now. Okay, next up, we also like, at the bins at least, Bowden bread and butter. I try to keep it more modern styles. This is a more minimalist kind of cottagecore puff sleeve jersey shirt. We will probably list that for around $25. This is a Maggie Barnes plus size piece all over sequin. I like Maggie Barnes, especially in like a 3X, and this has some extra details going for it. You guys know, try to get more substantial pieces in the plus sizes, and we'll list that for around $25. This is a rag and bone item, just kind of like a quiet luxury, great minimalist basics capsule wardrobe piece, very high quality. We'll likely list that for $20 to $25. One of our gals came across a good batch of like goth stuff at the bins, which is one of our best trending categories. This is the brand Killstar, which is pretty popular in the goth realm. There's a big difference there. It does not sell for a lot, but it does have a following, and regardless style base wise, we want to get stuff like this. So we'll use a bunch of keywords on this, punk, goth, emo, thrashed, concert, like all of the things. And we'll at least list each of these Killstar pieces for about $25 and higher. We also found another Killstar caged bra kind of thing. Again, goth, all the things, at least 25 on that. She found another Killstar bra, 20 to 25. Again, all the same keywords with that. All right, we've also been focusing on finding open knit goth looking stuff for fall. It ties into like the Halloween, whimsy goth style aesthetic, fairy grunge, all of those things. And so this is going to be a really great piece coming up for that. This is a really nice, it's called Forenza, vintage little Chanel open knit sweater. And again, we'll use all of those similar keywords. That'd be cute with one of those Killstar bras underneath of it. All right, another thing we like getting at the bins is little slip dresses. This is Cayley. This one is a plus size, and this is, again, very on trend for the upcoming season. Lots of people like to wear these either as lingerie or, again, in outfits. I think this one will likely be worn in an outfit, and we'll list it for around $25. All right, this one is the brand Hardtail Forever. This is a Y2K brand that can perform pretty well, and this has a lot of cool, similar aesthetic, grungy details, longer length, Y2K. Probably list that for around 25. Another kind of witchy goth one. This is not a brand I would memorize. It's just a style-based piece, but we have the mesh overlay, we have some bell sleeves, which is going to definitely be a good keyword we'll use with this one. All right, before I forget, let me grab these cool graphic t-shirts in the front, and then I'll keep going with the rest of the haul. So I wanted to pull these specifically because even though I've gotten pretty good with learning like vintage t-shirts and things like that, my girls are like brand new to sourcing. They've only been doing it for about 6 months to a year, which might sound like a long time, but it's not a long time. It takes a while to learn all this stuff, especially vintage t-shirts. And so we've taught them a few things. And I guess what I'm trying to say is if they are kind of baby sourcers, brand new resellers, and they can find stuff like this, that means that anybody can. So you don't have to be an expert to find a bunch of stuff. You don't have to be a t-shirt bro to find the good all over print t-shirts. You just need to know what to look for. And you can comp stuff even if you don't know things about NASCAR or Marvel Comics and things like that. So there's just a lesson in there that I wanted to share. This one does not have a tag at all, but it is an all over print. I think it's like vintage Y2K, all over front and back, large graphic NASCAR shirts. I know this is first of all, the large graphic, then it's front and back, and it's vintage, and it's NASCAR is, a bunch of factor stacking on top of each other that I'm going to get stuff like this no matter what. Some of these shirts go for $40, some of them go for over $100. So we'll do a little bit more research into that. But this one is dated exactly the year 2000, which is really cool. And then one of the ladies who was sourcing for me found this, and this is a vintage, this is like a really great grail item. This is a vintage Fruit of the Loom, men's size extra large, single stitch Marvel comic, all over print, front and back shirt. We're going to list this for over $100 and accept best offer. I actually think, no, it might be like closer to 200. I did a little bit more research, but I can't remember because I've been pricing so much stuff. But again, if she can do it, you guys can too. So keep your eye out for stuff like this, just large all over print graphics in general. Even sometimes modern ones can perform well, but definitely vintage is something you want to look for. Funny story about this. We have a ton of t-shirt bros at our bins. I feel like everybody does. We all know who they are. But I was like, how were you able to grab this without like the t-shirt bros finding it? And she goes, oh, here's what happened. I went to a new bin and they grabbed one that looked very similar to this, but it actually had color to it. And they were so excited and bragging to each other that they were all focused on the person who grabbed it and they weren't digging anymore. And then she said, so I saw this and I just kind of grabbed it and I hid it in my cart. I didn't even look at it. And she's like, but that's how it happened. So don't celebrate too soon. Don't brag to other people. When you find stuff, keep digging because there's likely more of it available. And so she learned a very important lesson that day. Keep your eye out for those large all over graphics. All right, something else that we are keeping our eye out for fall and winter, performs well for us every single year, are men's cardigans. And I feel like it'll be no different this year. This is a true vintage men's cardigan by the brand Lord Jeff, which typically performs well for me every year. So we'll use some great keywords with this one, and I like that it is a neutral color. Typically, we sell stuff like this for, I don't know, like 40 bucks and up. This is a cool Y2K artsy piece. I'm not familiar with that brand, but it is a crinkle, kind of like all over multicolor, stretchy little Y2K artsy top. I could see Phoebe Buffet wearing this in Friends, likely $25 to $30. This is one of my favorite brands to get in plus sizes. It is J. Jill. This is their Wherever collection. This is also a size 3X, so excellent size in a plus size. Really going to help to increase value. Just really nice Wherever collection top. That'll likely go for $30. Some more plus size stuff. This is Rose and Olive. 25 bucks on this. I'm not going to go too much in detail on the plus size stuff because I know you guys see a lot of it. We have a J. Jill 4X piece. Again, more plain, but J. Jill is one of my more elevated plus size brands, so we'll list that for 30 bucks and up. We have a J. Jill 2X top. This one's striped, likely $25 on that. We have an LL Bean 2X button-up shirt. LL Bean women's plus size stuff, very well performing for us, so we like finding LL Bean women's plus size pieces, and LL Bean in general is just a good like bread and butter brand to look for. 25 bucks on that. J. Jill size 2X, likely 25 on that as well. All right, this looks like Lululemon. Are you Lululemon? You are. This is a men's Lululemon shirt. This one feels like a much newer style. So we'll have to figure out the exact like style of this, but likely $25. There's also a slight mark on the underarm area, so we'll keep pricing in mind with that as well. All right, something else we've been getting are these very like coquette style, cottagecore, milkmaid style tops. So this silhouette in particular, this one's super flirty with the smocked waist and the ruffle at the bottom, and then the like empire waist. This one's by the brand Sim and Sam. I've mentioned this brand before. It's not really a bolo brand, but their styles tend to be very on trend. And so because of that, usually what happens is we end up getting it for style-based reasons. We'll likely sell that for $25 to $30. All right, this is a modern J. Crew piece. J. Crew, similar to LL Bean, is a great factor stacking bread and butter brand for me. This one's a size large, and it's a beautiful linen long length skirt. I'll have to do, well, I don't have to do, they already did comps on it when they were at the bins before they bought it, but I'm just kind of guessing here. But some of the more modern style J. Crew pieces that have more substantial materials can actually be bolos, but I'm just guessing here without knowing the style that this will likely go for around $35. And I'm dropping stuff. All right, let me fix that. These little tops are flying all over the place. All right, so we have another skirt. This is a Y2K Worthington, not a brand I would memorize. Just a style base. These longer length skirts are good bread and butter for the fall. This is a very like fairy, whimsical style skirt, and these darker colors are what we are switching over to. We have another J. Jill item. This one is a down jacket. This one's a size large petite. Normally I only get the plus sizes, but a down jacket is another category that we are factor stacking in. This one's longer length, it's real down, it's quilted, it's a high retailing brand. It is a no-brainer. I'm not exactly sure on comps on that one. Here is another no-name brand, just style base. Milkmaid coquette style again, very fitted waist with that drop bust, nice floral details, longer length. This material too, like it's modern, I don't want to say it's cheap feeling, but it's definitely not like super high quality. And so it's made out of lightweight materials, like most of the stuff you can find at like Marshalls and TJ Maxx. And because of that, it's super lightweight to pick up at the bin. So we're only paying a couple bucks for these long length dresses, which helps to really elevate pricing because it's a more substantial piece that is on trend. I've actually been selling stuff like this for around $35. So that's likely what we'll list this one for. Okay, and then we have another LL Bean plus size. This is a 3X, 3/4 length, very heavy duty cotton top. This one we might list slightly higher, we'll see, but $25 to $30. Okay, we have one of my favorite brands to find, Witchy. This is like a higher end outdoorsy brand and has a really good following. You sometimes sit on the pieces, but if you know how to list them with the right keywords, you'll get the right buyer. And there, like I said, is like a cult following for this brand. So these are a men's pair of fleece pants. I'm guessing around $35 to $40 on these. Next up, looks like another style-based piece. This one actually doesn't even have a brand. That is fine. So this is a really cool silhouette. Again, very like whimsy goth detail. I would also say dark coquette. Again, that silhouette is there as well. This one also has a really beautiful like mesh ruffle details on the trim. All of those things adding value to it. I would say probably around $25 to $30 on that. This is an Old Navy Active jumpsuit. I actually have pretty good luck with Old Navy Active items. We're just very particular and look everything up. This will likely sell for around $25. Okay, next up, this is a women's Eddie Bauer, their Ascent line. And this is a size 6 pair of women's pants. Eddie Bauer, hardly pick it up anymore, so we probably drilled down to the size, the exact style, color, everything, and likely these will sell for around $25. But they pad the sales, right? All right, we have another brand I like getting, especially in plus sizes. This is a Ralph Lauren. This one's a 2X, and it is a silk cashmere blend sweater. Very nice classic piece. This one, we will obviously elevate the price just because of the great materials. All right, we have an Alfani size medium, women's like whimsy goth, flare sleeve, witchy style top. Likely will list for $20 to $25. We have a Hollister modern label tiered longer length skirt, very boho, cottagecore. Lots of things you could actually put this under. All right, we have another Y2K style top. This is actually by Victoria's Secret, which is a good brand to look for in this kind of stuff. We will likely list this one for around $35 and use all of the magical keywords to get it to sell. Here's another Y2K style dress. Very feminine details, has the Empire like baby doll look to it. And then all of those little dainty details. Not a brand I would memorize. It's just Liz Claiborne. Is this silk? Feels like it might be. No, it's not silk, but it is silky filling, and it has like that bias cut. It is longer length. Again, this stuff's going to be perfect for fall and winter time. We have another Y2K style top by the brand Massimo, and these lacy trim tank tops we usually list for 20 to 25 bucks depending on how many details they have. This will likely go for around 20. All right, and I'm going to show you guys a couple more things and then we will head out of here. This is an Affliction shirt I just found recently. Actually, no, this is not the one I found. I found two in a different line. She must have found this. Apparently it's their Throwdown collection. I pick up all Affliction, men's and women's. It sells very well for me. And with the Y2K stuff trending right now, Affliction is also trending. So we'll at least get 25 bucks for that. All right, what do we want to finish with here? Let's finish with this Free People dress. This one's beautiful. I'll continue picking up substantial Free People pieces, especially their longer length dresses. They always perform very well for me. And we always look up the exact style, whether it's a lens or whether I'm looking up the style name. This one's also a size large. You guys know how I feel about that. Size large and up performs extremely well. This one's gorgeous. Should I take this one with me to vacation? Maybe I should. We'll see. I'm about to go on vacation. I might take this with me. But this is a very gorgeous gauzy style dress. And again, with the silhouette, like same thing with the Milkmaid stuff, very, very on trend. So this one should perform really well if I don't, keep it for myself. All right, you guys, I have much more to show you, but I do need to get out of here. This has been kind of a longer thrift haul, so hope you guys enjoy it, and I look forward to showing you the many, many things that we are getting. Let me know if you like seeing all the style-based stuff, all the sell-through stuff, and all of it mixed together. That's kind of how I run my business. It's just what is available, what's the most stuff I can get that's going to profit me items no matter where I'm at, and so that's why a lot of this stuff is mixed. But I hope you guys like it. It makes sourcing easier. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.